So, so this is important, because if you have a person that says, I've got this anxiety problem, I just need to dial this anxiety down, it's causing me all sorts of problems, and they come to, and they say, oh, I've heard meditation helps, and you go to a Buddhist center, and then in the Buddhist center, and maybe not the Tibetan, not this one, maybe Theravadan, maybe some other tradition, but you start being told that these kinds of difficulties are all in your mind, and it's part of the path, and all this kind of stuff. It's really unhelpful. That's really unhelpful. It's really damaging. So you've got these people, and what they need is a skilled therapist to help them with the right here and now to get through what's happening, and then think about it later. And I'll put it aside and say that if you're a Buddhist, right? Let's say all of a sudden I'm having all these anxiety issues, and I've done some study and I kind of understand, basically how Buddhism works. So then, I wouldn't go to therapy. I would double down on my Buddhist practice, right? And that's because I know that with how the ends of suffering and works and meditation, all this stuff, I know that by doing, from my own experience, that by making that push for these bigger results of elimination of suffering and so on, anxiety, depression, and these sorts of things will disappear as a byproduct. I don't have to focus on them and get rid of, try to get rid of them. They just kind of disappear because I got these bigger goals. So it's really, but that's not true if somebody doesn't understand Buddhism, or if you think trauma is stored in the body and these sorts of things. We need to talk from a therapeutic point of view, not from a Buddhist point of view. This is really important. And this came up, last week about, again, trauma being stored in the body. And if you're sort of a therapist, a researcher, or you're working in the mental health sphere, that's a model that's probably going to get you some results, actually. That's okay. It's a model that's going to get you results, and you should use it. And the reason this has come through research and all this stuff that trauma is stored in the body is because it comes from a scientific, rigorous research, for whom the mind is unavailable. Just to be clear, the mind is unavailable for these people to observe. They can't do it. They have no technology. It can't be done. So they look to the body, and they get results. So that's great. But if you go to a Buddhist center, you're going to be very rightfully told in 100% correctness that that's not true. I want to be really clear. Trauma is stored in the body. No. How could it be? It's stored in the mind. Right? That's what you'll be told, which is probably not very helpful. So last week, we had this a really worthwhile conversation and questions. And so for me, sitting here, that's what I'm thinking. So there's all this research and trauma is stored in the body, and I'm thinking, no, it's not. But I can't say that, and especially not at the end of the session when it's almost 8 o'clock and everyone has to go, which is why I'm saying it now. Because they really need to understand that there are these two sides. And I guess the question has to arise, I guess, how do we combine them? Okay, and there are different ways to do this. So I'm going to present you one that maybe marries itself onto mental health issues, which is the area that I deal with. Here's a model. Okay, yeah.
Robert was also asking, are there not sometimes Buddhists who need therapy? So where do you draw the line?
Yeah, no, it's exactly. Are there Buddhists who need therapy? Yes. Yes, I can give you a list of names.